Welcome back to Breakdown. Today is Sunday, June 16th, 2024. JJ, this week is Juneteenth week. And in honor of Juneteenth week, I got my cap. 40 acres and a mule. You ever seen a real mule?
I don't believe I've seen a real mule in person.
Oh,
Not
man.
that I can remember.
So you never walked behind the mule and the plow. You don't know what you missed, man. But no, I'm pulling out my hat for 40 acres and a mule. And
Still waiting on
Juneteenth.
those 40 acres and that mule. Still waiting.
Okay, my dad walked behind a mule for 1,000 miles in his life. But Jay, there's a lot of stuff going on out in the world today. Oh, before I move on, speaking of caps, do you know what the Arkansas Razorback cap said to the U of M Wolverine cap?
Our salary is a little bigger than yours. What was it?
The Razorback cap said to the Wolverine staff.
John L. Davis is going to be in Fayetteville this year?
If you just listen, I'll let you know. He said, you stay here, I'll go on ahead. You didn't catch that.
No, I caught that. I definitely caught that.
Well,
And for your sake, I'm gonna just ignore it.
Well, let's talk sports.
Let's do it. Let's change it up and talk sports. Something we don't do enough, right?
College World Series. What would you think, JJ, if I said walk off, walk off, walk off?
I would think we're missing one walk off. But
I
think the last game ended in a walk off robbery.
Can you believe that the first 3 games of the College World Series all ended with the last bat?
Yeah, that was unprecedented. If I saw it in the movie, I would have thought that they could have maybe scripted it a little bit to make it more realistic. But sometimes life is stranger than fiction.
That's true. And the one that was not a walk off, it ended at 2:15 in the morning. I didn't get to see that. That was Texas A&M beating Florida 3-2.
Yeah.
Okay, but now, Jay, we got the winners and the losers set. As we speak right now, the losers from Friday are playing right now. That was Florida State and UVA.
They're playing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
The loser of that game will go home. The winners from Friday play tonight, North Carolina and Tennessee. And then tomorrow, the losers, Florida and NC State play each other, and the loser of that game will go home.
Yeah, this is obviously a big College World Series for both the SEC and the ACC, as half of the teams are from the SEC and half are from the ACC. It's also big for the states of Florida and North Carolina, because they both have a couple of teams apiece representing them. It is definitely an interesting College World Series.
I agree. Does it surprise you that it's an all SEC, ACC tournament?
I mean, it's only right. The last time we got together, we were talking about could the SEC break the ACC's record of most teams making it to the.
They did.
And over the years, it's been baseball has become an increasingly southeastern sport.
Agreed. It used to be the West Coast used to hang in there a little bit too in Arizona, but
yeah, you'd have the Long Beach State Dirtbags. You'd have the what was it? Was it Bakersfield that won all those championships?
Yeah, and you had Arizona State.
Yeah.
I mean,
USC actually still has either the most or the second most all-time College World Series.
And Stanford was right there with him as well.
Yeah.
Stanford was there. But I agree. So who you got, JJ? It's down to eight teams. Who you got winning it all? Who would you like to win it all?
Those are two drastically different questions. Who I got winning it all? I think Tennessee can become the first school since the University of Miami to be ranked number 1 and to win the College World Series. 1999, Miami, I think that was 25 years ago. So I think that they have the balance. Their pitching staff, they had a shortstop that hit for the cycle last night.
Kristen Moore.
Yeah.
He was 5'9". He was 5 for 6.
Yeah.
A home run, a triple, a double, and a single.
Yeah.
Two doubles.
Yeah, I mean, he was 5 for 6, and so he had to have 2 or something.
2 doubles.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing to have. Yeah, that was quite a night for him. I think they just have the balance, offensively, defensively. Not exactly who I'd want to win, even though their head coach used to spend a lot of time in Fayetteville. Not who I would want to win. I think who I'd want to win is more along the lines of UVA or North Carolina State. That's what I'm rooting for. Who are you rooting for?
Well, you know, the top 4 seeds won the first game.
Yep.
So they were 1, 2, 3, and 4. They all won. I don't know a whole lot about North Carolina. The other 3 schools, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Texas A&M, they can all play well. I like Kentucky personally, not because I think they're the best team, but I like their style of play.
The small ball, you like the.
They put pressure on the defense.
Yeah.
They constantly putting pressure on the defense, so I really like that.
They're playing really loose. You can see them in the dugout anytime something big happens for them. You can just tell by their reaction how they handle it, but yeah, they said that this is the right type of park for Kentucky too. It's a little bit, yeah. So they said that it matches up with what they would like to do. So
yeah, I agree.
And you know what? When it came to Ole Miss and Mississippi State winning, I know LSU won last year, but Ole Miss and Mississippi State won back-to-back years, and one of the biggest reasons that they won, even though they came in as not one of the favorites to get there, was because of how their fans traveled. They turned Omaha into home field advantages, and if any school left, Kentucky is that school. This is the first time that they've made it to the College World Series. And their
correct, in their school history.
And their basketball team has, lost to Oakland and St. Peter's 2 of the last 3 years, so that they want to see some postseason success. They're starved for it. Out in Lexington.
Are you telling me that Kentucky has become a baseball school?
Some people. I seen a Kentucky fan last night that had the baseball school shirt on. I think a lot of people are. I think that they want to root for a winner. Obviously, they would take basketball first, football second.
Kentucky. Only Kentucky would take basketball first.
Well, yeah, Kentucky, North Carolina. You have to have your basketball schools. Kansas in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Every conference has one.
Okay. Okay, ZJ. So you're saying you think Tennessee got the horses to win, but you like Virginia or NC State?
That's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for UVA or NC State.
Okay. Well, this time next week we'll have the winner. Anything else on College World Series that we forgot to mention, or that we should bring up?
No, just that the Big Ten has a long way to go as well. I'll say, even when they add a school like Oregon, who takes baseball very seriously, add USC, who's won 6 College World Series championships. That's I think that's the most of all time. It's either the most or second most. You add in these schools with these great histories and then these great atmospheres for baseball. They have a lot to do to advance in the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
But they have the money to do it.
Yeah, they do.
Speaking about conferences and money, you want to move away from the College World Series?
And talk about the Allstate Big 12?
Yeah, the Allstate Conference. The Allstate 12 Conference.
Tell me about that. What's going on? What's going on there?
Yeah, so the Big 12 is seeking out ways that they can compete against the Big 10 and the SEC, especially with they see the writing on the wall with this legislation that are passing and these Supreme Court verdicts that are being handed down. They see that they're going to have to pay their student athletes, and they're going to have to figure out ways to pay for that
and be competitive with the other ones.
Yeah,
and so they're going to do what?
Well, if they're gonna, first try to get as big as TV contract as you can, but when you can't get one as big as the Big Tens or the SECs, you go in the sponsorship route. And the Big 12 has explored options. They've been talking about, a potentially $800 million to $1 billion naming rights deal for the Allstate that would give the Allstate the naming rights to the conference and 15 to 20% equity in the conference. So they've been in negotiations. That's what's big around in the sports world and in college. It's not just the Big 12, the Mountain West Conference, the American Conference, and Conference USA. Those are 3 other conferences that are exploring that as well. But obviously, the Big 12 is going to have the most significance out of those four conferences.
Do you think that's a smart move?
Yeah, I mean, Brett Yormark has shown that he wants to find ways to be competitive any and all ways possible. He's discussed adding UConn and Gonzaga as basketball only schools. I think I know Iowa isn't in the Big 12, but Iowa State is. That's Big 12 country. I think they saw what Caitlin Clark there in Iowa did for women's basketball, and I think they're trying to uncover every single rock, every single stone, every single thing that they could that adds value, and they're trying their best to compete with the Big Ten and SEC because the gap is very wide.
Yes, and so you are in favor of this naming right move that they're trying to make.
I think it's the way of the future.
Okay, I agree. I totally agree.
I mean, you look at what is it? Football over there across the pond, EuroLeague soccer. Their team names. You see their jerseys. I don't even know what team is representing. I just see a big T-Mobile logo or something that says Samsung. I literally it's become incredibly commercial, and college football is going the way of EuroLeague soccer. The only thing that's left to do is regulation
and unions.
Yeah,
but you're right. Yeah, I'm in favor of the Big 12 going that route personally, and I think it'll prove to be very financially profitable. It'll provide some stability for the conference and the schools, and I like it personally. I wouldn't be surprised if even the mega rich conference like the Big Ten and the SEC eventually at some point move around that way. At some point,
yeah.
I know they might hold out for a while, but I would not be surprised.
Yeah, if I'm them, I think I might hold out for just a little bit, just to show that for one, I don't have to. I can still make more money than you, and just proof of concept, see how good it does, and what their return on value is, and then so I can take that and multiply that by a factor of whatever, and say, okay, this is what we want for you to advertise for the big boys. But
JJ, just a few minutes ago, you mentioned Caitlin Clark. You talked about what she had done for women's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know she missed the Olympics? She did not get selected?
I do know that she did not get selected for the Olympics.
Caitlin Clark, when she was in college, was a huge draw. As a matter of fact, in a great deal because of her, the women's final game outdrew the men's final game.
First time it's ever happened.
Amazing. So let me ask you this question. Has Caitlin Clark lived up to the hype in her WNBA career? Very short career at that. I think it's like 14 games.
Well, it's really hard to say that she has lived up to the hype when you have just the guy who won Rookie of the Year for the on the men's side in the NBA, Victor Wembanyama, who was the first the first rookie to ever be first team or second team or third team all defense, but he did finish first team. And when you see what he did for a very bad team, I think that they're comparable in certain ways. I think that they're both really good talent, like really good talents. But I wouldn't say that she's transcended it the way that Victor Wembanyama has. So it depends on what the hype was. What was the expectation for Caitlin Clark? What expectation did you have for her? I think she's been in the realm of the hype from what I had for her. What about you? What do you think that?
I think she's performed probably up to my expectations.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect her to come in and lead the WNBA in scoring and rebounding and all of that stuff. But I want to ask you another question. Has she been unfairly targeted in the WNBA?
I think that's a question for people who's had more interactions with her. There've been some reports about that recently. But when I look at her statistics, I would say in certain ways, yes. I think that she has been in certain ways targeted. I think that there are certain people that want to welcome her into the league The same way that Isaiah might have wanted to do with for Michael Jordan at the All Star game when he froze him out and things like that.
Did you see Shinity Carter's foul against Caitlin Clark? I may mispronounce her first name, but Carter's foul. Did you see that foul?
Yeah,
What's your take on that foul?
it was a hard foul. It's a lot harder of a foul than you'd see in the NBA. But if you watch the WNBA, you know that you see harder fouls in the WNBA than you see regularly in the NBA. It's a more physical sport. But it was definitely a hard foul, and given the attention and the magnifying lens that Caitlin Clark is under, I think that's the first time anyone's seen her sustain that type of hit.
The coach at UConn, women's basketball coach Gino, he said that Caitlin Clark was not built for the WNBA. What do you agree? Disagree?
I disagree.
Okay.
I think that's very early for her to disagree. That sad.
All right. Anything else on Miss Clark that you want to talk about? I know it's been all over the news. I mean, I don't want to just wear it out.
Well, what are your thoughts on Caitlin Clark and and her missing the Olympics and her taking fouls and what Gino had to say?
Well, I think right now her body isn't designed for the WNBA. Hopefully she'll get stronger, get some experience, and she will. I believe that she will one day become a force in the WNBA. But as of right now, she's holding her own. But she's in the top 5, top 3 in assists. She's the number 16th, 18th scorer right now in the WNBA, averaging 15.6 points per game. So I think she's holding her own, but I don't think she's built to be our superstar right now. But experience will help that a lot, I believe. As far as the Olympics, I think she should have been on the Olympics because she has been a major, not the sole, but a major factor in transcending women's basketball in the United States. Viewership has just gone out of the atmosphere. I think in great part because of her, not solely because of her, great part because of her. So that's my take on that. Okay. And the one last thing that I want to talk about. You might have some additional things to talk about. I want to talk about fast women.
Now, talk about fast women.
I want to talk about fast women.
Okay.
Now, my daddy, he told me, he said, son, don't mess around with fast women and slow horses.
I've heard that saying.
But when it comes to fast women, the Arkansas Razorbacks track team, they ran the 400 meter finals in Eugene, Oregon, during the track. They finished 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the 400 meter. And then they did the 4x400 relay. What you think happened there?
They finished 8th, 7th, 6th, and 5th.
No, we're talking relay now. We're not talking individual.
Okay. They finished 8th.
No.
Okay.
They shattered by 4 seconds their previous record, the 4x400 relay record. They shattered it. And their coach, I want to give a great compliment to the Razorback women. They won the indoor championship this year and the outdoor championship in track and field. They had a rookie coach, his first year as head coach for the women's team, and
He's spent 12 years as an assistant.
something like that. And it was in the teens. I thought nearly teens.
You know what? I think it was 13.
Okay. But that's my take. Shout out to the Arkansas Razorback track team, JJ.
We'll pick Sweet.
That's my take. What do we leave out? What you want to talk about the best so far?
Yeah, no, I think we've pretty much hit everything. The dog days of summer.
Less than 100 days to football.
Less than 100 days to football. I think we'll be recapping baseball and previewing the NBA draft. Probably is our next one.
All right.
But that should about do it.
Can we get out of here?
Yeah.
WPS. We'll pick Suey.
And it's Olympics year, so USA.
All right.